Hello delegates, students, and of course friends at my wedding one day looking around for embarrassing photos and videos of me. My name is Sam Silva, and I was a delegate for the University of Nottingham Students' Union at this year's NUS National Conference. And this is my video, the top 10 funniest lines and moments from that conference. So, let's get straight into it. Number 10, Mike Ross's DPC speech. There are many candidate speeches up in this top 10 list, because a candidate speech gives a delegate a time for something a bit more personal and funny that would otherwise be irrelevant and out of context.
So apparently sheeps don't have a gag reflex. There you go.
DPC stands for Democratic Procedural Committee. You can think of it as steering. To be on DPC requires absolute political neutrality, so candidates leave things about political affiliations and political opinions outside of their speeches, and they tend to talk about why they love bureaucracy and democracy so much, which is a bit boring. So to be on DPC and to win an election, you have to do something a bit more interesting.
Mike, you have 60 seconds starting from now.
Conference, this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just listen to me. I'll tell you how I became a part of a committee known as DPC. In West Edinburgh, I was born and raised in the unions where I spent most of my days, chilling out, voting, constituting all cool, and shooting some motions outside of school when a couple of guys they were up to no good started making trouble in my union hood. I got in one little fight and my CEO got scared and said, "You're moving in with Finlay on DPC, take care." I whistled for a train and when it came near, the license plate said NUS and had a dice in the mirror. If anything, I could say that this train shouldn't be, but I thought, nah, forget it, you're home to DPC. I pulled up to the hall about 7 or 8 and I yelled to the driver, "You're home, smell you later." I looked at my kingdom, I was where I wanted to be, to sit on my throne as a prince of DPC. Thank you, conference.
Thank you, candidate.
What made this funnier in my opinion is that Mike Ross's speech immediately followed this speech.
Joe Raymond, Royal Holloway. Conference, I have a confession. I'm not a real tiger. This is simply a gimmick to remind you to vote for me, because unfortunately, that seems to be what student democracy has been reduced to.
Needless to say, Mike Ross won, and Joe Raymond didn't.
Really sorry, Joe.
Next, number 9, Sam Gawes' DPC speech. As the official bearholder of the inanimate carbon rod, Sam Gawes is a popular funny delegate, and this is not his only appearance in this top 10 list.
The next candidate is Sam Gawes. Sam, you have 60 seconds starting from now.
To quote a famous Mr. Burns, ironic, isn't it, Smithers? This anonymous clan of slack-jawed troglodytes has cost me the election, and yet if I were to have them killed, I would be the one to go to jail. That's democracy for you. For anyone not familiar with The Simpsons, that's Liam Burns, President of the NUS. Comrades, in my speech yesterday,
Moving on to number 8, Naomi Beecroft's Trustee Board candidate speech. There are a few anarchists over at NUS, and they say some funny stuff.
The next candidate will be Naomi Beecroft. You have 60 seconds starting from now.
I do not believe in trustee boards.
To understand why I find this funny, let's consult Twitter. I do not believe in trustee boards, says Trustee Board candidate. In at number 7, gender balancing and quotas for women delegates was a highly controversial and well-contested debate, and features in my other video. But here's what one delegate had to say.
Tabs, University of Manchester. Even David Cameron is bringing quotas to the Conservative Party. Even he is aware that his cabinet of rich, white men is down to structural inequality. David Cameron is more progressive than NUS. Awkward. In 1993, the...
Awkward. On to number 6, Peter Smallwood. Peter Smallwood is a well-known Tory student, and a very lovely and funny bloke, and this is not his only entry as well.
Well, good afternoon, comrades. Peter Smallwood, Union of Brunel Students. Lovely to see you all.
If you don't get that joke, then you probably don't know student politics, and that makes you uncool. 5. The inanimate carbon rod.
How'd you solve the door dilemma?
Homer Simpson was the real hero here. He jury-rigged the door close using this.
Hey, what is that? It's an inanimate carbon rod!
The inanimate carbon rod was a protest campaign for presidency thought of and run by Sam Gawes from UCL. On top of a hilarious Twitter feed, and some great pictures and videos, the inanimate carbon rod won the hearts and minds of conference. One of the funniest moments of his campaign, was the informal presidency hustings on the first night of conference. Sam Gores walked onto the stage with the other candidates. He put his big box on the chair, took out the rod, and then walked off, leaving the rod with the other candidates on stage. I even got to hold the rod. I haven't changed in 2 weeks. But that's enough about the rod for now.
Oh, they were just about to show some close-ups of the rod.
On to number 4. Have a look at this.
Stop. Alright, hi guys, I'm Amy Addison Dunn, and if you vote for me... Right, conference. I am appalled. Gender equality today was...
I'm going to stop her there, because it's not really important what she has to say. What's funny is that she's ripped up her speech in such a dramatic way to make some kind of point that she's either speaking from the heart or not being generic. But then she's obviously not speaking from the heart, she's reading just another pre-written speech, and reading it and looking down the whole time anyway. But more so, she starts off with the generic line, "Conference I'm appalled." What makes the video even funnier is what happens at the end of her speech.
Thank you very much. That candidate was Amy Addison Dunn. Amy, could you take your litter with you, please?
Sorry, I'm left wing, I went left.
Amy, could you take your litter with you, please? Yes, please. Thank you.
She didn't win after that. In at number 3, Peter Smallwood's summer camp. To explain, hard left factions usually dominate NUS conference, especially since the Tories took over in 2010. However, this year, the hard left seemed significantly weakened, and they didn't make nearly as many wins as they did on previous years. Here's what Peter Smallwood had to say.
Well, good morning, comrades. It's great to be here in Sheffield again. I went to bed last night and I cried. One of the things that has seemed to have come in the conference is the red flag is simply not flying. And I am mourning that the left aren't united. So I have decided that if I get to the block of 15, I'm going to open up a summer camp. And I'm going to bring them all together. And I feel I'm the man to unite the left together and bring them back to what they once were.
Number 2, my top 10 funniest. False U conference. You got to be pretty full-sing tired to make a slip-up like this. Or maybe you were just misheard.
Jessica Goldstone, Hallam Union. But to deny its fundamental importance in helping student unions change education for the better in their universities, well, that's just false. If you're from a students' union where funding is no issue, where your institution...
Sorry, could you refrain from using that kind of language?
False.
Oh, sorry. DPC thought, and I thought you used the other F word, sorry. Right, you can start again. I'm really sorry, delegate. I'm sorry. We're going to add 10 seconds on.
Right, should I go from the beginning?
LOL, I'm so going to tweet about this. In at number 1, the one you've been waiting for, and probably the one that you predicted. Sam Gore's inanimate carbon rod presidential speech. The build-up to this speech was big, as you've seen earlier in the video. What was he going to do? Last year, Sam Gores ran for trustee and used the time just to say a few jokes, which was funny, but what was he going to do when he ran for presidency? Was he going to do as he did at hustings? Was he just going to leave the rod there for 5 minutes? And would that be boring? Would that be funny? What would be the reaction from Liam Burns and the NEC? But we can all say that he definitely delivered with this speech.
Conference, I am appalled. The Rod is proud of our movement and proud of what we have achieved. Now more than ever, we need to value the people who run our movement and look to the future. We need to be clear about where we come from and where we're going. We need to be future and clear about where going to and from. Now movement and ever before are we proud achievements together, being together. There are those who will say clear future value people, but let's be clear. Future. Not just for the next 5 years, but for the next 4,000 years, together with the Rod in positive, serious fight back, for serious together, clear where we're going. Now more than ever, in the streets, comrades, in the streets, we must fight in the streets, because now more than ever we need a movement, clear future streets. That in the streets, now more proud achievement going. The rod will do the things that need doing for the people who need things to be done for them that the rod can do.
The full video is 5 minutes long, and I'll link it in the video. Sam Gores made comedy gold here, and he was more than that, he was poignant. He was attacking other delegates and the leadership for their overuse of buzzwords and empty promises. And the fact that he had this big build-up, a very large campaign, and it was well written, good content and well delivered, makes this the funniest thing of National Conference 2013. Thank you for watching.